Hi there, and welcome to a new plugin guru video. My name is John Skippy Limcool. Glad to have you along. Today is a great day because I am releasing two libraries for Serum, which is the synthesizer from X4 Records. I did some factory voicing for it. Seth Norman did some factory voicing for this, and Seth Norman created Toxic Omnisphere, which is a really cool bass-heavy, aggressive library for Omnisphere. He worked with me on this library. We both did voicing for the factory patches, and at that time when we were doing the factory voicing patches, we both really dug this and said, man, we should do a library for this. And so we worked on patches. He worked at his studio, I worked at my studio, and then we put them together. And what happened is that this was supposed to only be a single library, but we both created so many patches that we really liked. We didn't want to throw them out. So we're like, well, let's just make two libraries. And so it took a little bit of just time and shaping, and all of a sudden it became really clear that we have two libraries that are the Epic version, which is all these really cool things for trance and dance music, and then the Epic EVIL, which is all this really aggressive, bass heavy, just in your face killer, awesome stuff. And I did patches for both libraries. Seth did patches for both libraries. So you're getting our take on both the dance kind of things and the dubstep kind of things. If you want both at the same time, you can save some money and get the combo. These are all available at my website, pluginguru.com. And if you go here, I can take you to the page. It's not fully functioning as a page yet because as I'm doing this video, the demo that Seth is working on, he's mixing it right now at his studio. But the library's out already, even though the page isn't quite happening yet. You can buy it here. There's an introductory price until December 1st. So you're probably watching this on my Plugin Guru YouTube channel. I just want to point out I have this here. And then the Facebook page. This is important to know about because the Facebook page, they've already been able to buy this library, and a whole bunch of them have, because news came out last night. And so I was able to put it up on the Facebook page quickly. And then now I'm making the videos a day later because I needed to sleep, stuff like that. Anyway, so those are the places I want to point out that you need to check out. Now, when you get the library, let me cover installation really quick. You get the combo, let's say. You open it like this, and inside you find the artwork for combo. You find Epic and you find EVIL. And the README, I want to point out, you must be using Serum version 1.02 or higher. And this was using beta 08, and they now have beta 09, and it will just keep going later. So make sure you have the latest version of Serum or else it won't work. So here's and then if you copy this link right here, that's the owner's manual. And that will give you all sorts of detailed information on how to work with this library, how to install it. But I'm going to cover it here as well. So one of the cool things with this synthesizer is that under the menu, there is a Show Serum Presets folder. I cannot tell you how handy this is. And I'm hoping Omnisphere and Trillion will follow suit, because one of the big challenges with those libraries is finding the right Omnisphere folder, the right Steam folder. Here you just click this and bang, here it is. Bring it over here. And so the tables, as you can see, now Epic and EVIL both include the same tables file. So you only need to drag one of these over to the tables folder. Okay, keep that there. And then take the right here, the MegaWav Epic and Evil. Just click those and drag over to presets, and then go to presets, and there they are. And do that. And that's all you really got to do. It's that simple. If once you've done that and you come back to your DAW, you need to make Serum go away by uninstalling it and then reinstalling it. That way it checks its directories, plugs everything in, and now when you go here, you'll see MegaWav Epic and Evil. Okay. Now, part of the reason why it's called MegaWav is because I created a whole bunch of custom wavetables. Seth made some too. I sampled a lot of instruments and analog synthesizers and modules from my modular synthesizer rig, doing all sorts of really cool things. I also recorded some of my Toxic FM8 patches from Native Instruments FM8. I also made really cool wavetables from Massive. And for Massive, instead of recording their wavetables, I recorded patches. So if you go over here and you say init, and you go right here, there's the tables. And if you go to Miss V, I'm not using the names of the, I'm using kind of like shortened names. You can probably figure most of these out. And if you load Miss V and then go to the wavetable, after you've gotten down 2 octaves, you'll hear. Okay. There's other ones that are from all sorts of really cool modular synths. FMX is FM8, and actually these are the names of the patches from Toxic FM8. And I showed earlier in a video on YouTube how to make wavetables, and I made one of these in real time with you guys. So Laser Rider. Okay, so those are included. Now, when you save a patch inside of Serum, and if it's using custom wavetables like I was doing, it saves those tables into the patches. So I didn't need to include this folder with all 61 wavetables, but I wanted to include these so that you have easy access to them for your own programming adventures. So that's why it's MegaWav. You get a ton of new waveforms as well as a ton of patches to work with. So that's the concept. Now, a couple of things about the patches. Every one of them have all 4 macros and the modulation wheel set up to do something really cool. And I'm going to throw tips at you as we go along. Here's one tip. Right here in the little circles, there's a number. Do you know what that number is for? The number is telling you how many modulation sources are assigned to that specific destination. Velocity, the modulation wheel. Envelope 2 has 1, and if you hover over here for a second, it should tell me filter cutoff. Okay? So by using that, you can see that we set up 2 parameters for each of these knobs. You'll find something that goes as high as 5 or 6. Here's 4. Here's one with 3. To give you all sorts of really, we'll get to that in a minute when we play it for real. So that is a huge distinction between this and most of the libraries you're going to find, because there's going to be a lot of libraries coming out for Serum because it's really cool. But most of the programmers are not going to take the time and effort to think and come up with really cool modulation sources for all 4 modulating knobs and the modulation wheel for every one of their patches. I've programmed Korg synthesizers for 25 years. And when we're making these big workstations in the Oasises and so forth that have all the real-time controllers, every one of them has to do something. You can't sell a hardware synthesizer where knobs just don't do anything. So I come from that background where that's how it is. You do that or it's not done being programmed. You didn't do your job. So I take that standard and that level of programming and I apply it to all the patches that you find in all of my libraries at Plugin Guru. It's just the way I work. So I believe it gives you the most controllability and playability too. So I'm shortchanging you if I don't do that. So there's a lot of libraries. I've bought some already and they're really disappointing because you could go buy a sample library because it's just playing a sound and there's no controls to change the sounds. Or maybe one, and it changes one parameter, which is the same as going over here and Changing the same parameter here. I mean, so a lot of thought and planning goes into our library's control knobs. And I've worked with Seth and I've mentored him and taught him the ways of programming. He was very good in the first place, so it didn't take that much work. But every patch we've done is done this way. Okay, so let's look at the patches. So Epic is for the club, it's for dance. So I'm gonna just play a 4 on the floor and just go through patches. And I'm gonna change some knobs and stuff in real time so you can hear some of the cool things you can do. And just have some fun. Awaken. So there's a wobble hidden. So one patch is literally a whole myriad of patches because of the work we've done to these knobs. So explore them and have fun. Here we go. It's so crushed. And that's because of right here, the quantizer, which is one of the real-time manipulation warping tools that are built into Serum. Okay, here's some dark ones. So. And you can go into the wave. Some of these dark ones you won't hear on Spall's computer speakers, of course. Crazy. These are using massive wavetables, which are based on patches, not based on the massive wavetables themselves. So the patches did some really cool, freaky things. And I just kept it all in there because It's cool stuff. Okay. Got that kind of patch. All over the place. So much flexibility. This is similar, but it's got motion in it. So okay. Let's go dark. This is a cool knob. Check this out. The unison knob is changing the blend between pretty much dry, like this. It's just the main basic sound, and then as you bring it up, it brings up the detuned oscillators. TB303 kind of. Okay. I always make a pointer. Anywhere, man. Okay. This is for fast repeated lines and anytime you see FM amount or just FM, that's a fun macro to play with. So when it's soft, it sounds clamped, and then as it opens up. So in this patch here, it's called tight pants because velocity is controlling both the filter and the volume. So, and here's your velocity curve, and if it plays not quite right for you, changes. This is the softest velocities, these are the highest velocities, and this is the value. The line is the value. So if you bring it up like this, that means that when you play really soft, it's ignoring your softness, and it's just going to make it really loud. If you bring it up like this, no matter how soft I play, it's maximum volume. If I do just the opposite and bring it this way, it's soft all the time. So you can find somewhere in between that's going to work for the way you play. So if it doesn't play right and doesn't feel right, that's how you change it. Vintage saw snap. This is attempts of doing analog, kind of, you know, the... which I think it does quite well. And you can kind of guess what I sampled for these 4 classic waveforms, something that likes to do voyages. sounds so great. It's really interesting. If you change just this to another, the things that say 4 waves are the standard waveforms from some analog source that's not table based. So Odo is 4 waves, X series is 4 waves, Voyage is 4 waves. Those are the main guys that I did the 4 waves for. So if you change from the Voyages type of a synthesizer to this, it's a very different personality than this. They're great and different. This actually works better for chords and thinner things. Cool stuff. All right, then bells, because there weren't a lot of bells in the factory voicing, and this does really nice bells. So much fun to play with. So there's that. I was almost going to call it Happily Married, but I was like, now, this is, if you're playing bells and you're playing like that, you're going to start getting crackles, just the way it works. So the ways to work around that is to bring down your polyphony. You can also go over here and change from 2-time oversampling just to 1-time oversampling. There's rumors that in the future there might be even an economy mode that shows up here. Haven't seen it yet, but this, you can also do such things as go to the envelope 1 and bring down the release a little bit. The reverb inside of Serum, you can turn that off and use something else. And it might save DSP, it might not, I don't know, but be a more nicer reverb in most cases. This, sometimes like this, it works okay for it. So as you can see, big transformation. Now we get to the BPM stuff. All sorts of fun stuff. There's a ton of these, so I'm just gonna. Typically 50%. When it says 50 is the straight up value, that's the value that we assign to it. I'm going to do a programming video from basic to advanced, actually probably 2 videos, a basic one and then an advanced one. And I'll explain all of that kind of stuff and how these knobs work, because there's 2 default resting positions. There's 0 or there's 50%. And that depends on whether it's, most of the effects, if you go over here and you click this, you'll see that they're set up so that there's a value above it and a value below it. That's because they're bipolar, which means it can be negative values or it can be positive values. That means the middle 50% is resting. So this 50% is exactly how you want it to be. So when I want to add, let's say I want to add distortion to this. Now right here, it's unipolarity. So it's a single polarity. This is minimum. And with this, that doesn't work because this 50% means that it's halfway through this range. So you hold on Option and Shift and click. And there you go. You're in the middle of it. So keep going because there's so much to cover. Oh, wait, I didn't play cornered. It's one of my favorite patches. Okay. Now patches like this, if you hold it down it does this, but I've also designed it so that you can play shorter and have it do that type of stuff. If you don't want the squeal, you can turn this down. No noise. Okay, so yeah, that's stuff to play with. And I can't tell you, having LFO tool basically built in as the LFOs is the best, because if you don't like it, and if it's playing, if you want to click and drag, make it later. Just experiment, man. I mean, it's so easy. If you double click and hold down the mouse button, you have a new point. So again, tons of stuff in one patch, right? And it's really fun. Check this out. If you go to the effects page, I'm actually using the equalizer to do the high pass filter. The EQ is so nice that when you set it to the low frequency cut limiting, so it's going to kill certain frequencies below it. If you bring up the resonance and you find the sweet spot, and then you assign the mod wheel to sweep this, you get a free filter out of the EQ, which is great. Either you know what that means or you don't. If you don't, it's okay. If you do, you'll be happy to know that. Moving on. Ah! When I'm reaching over here, you'll see the mod wheel, the evil mod wheel. We kept that from Toxic Atmosphere. It's still evil. So now let me show you how I did that. That was really fun. So there's octave, there's semitones, There's fine tuning, and then there's a special one that does the full range that's not tied to those as modulation sources for the envelopes and the LFOs. So I have LFO3 radically playing really fast this LFO on the octave. So it's going up and down between like 4 octaves, right? And then you go over to the matrix and you find, once you've clicked and dragged that destination to that, you look down here and you will find LFO3 is assigned to the octave and the detune and here. And then you go to the auxiliary sources and you set that to mod wheel. And what that does is that means that when the mod wheel is at 0, it's a value of 0 times. You can invert it or you can bypass it. And by doing the multiply this way, what it means is something times 0 equals 0. So no matter what that LFO is doing, it's doing the full range. Because my mod wheel value is 0, it's not doing anything. As I bring it up in small increments, the smaller values equal a small amount of LFO. So you can see right here, it's going crazy. When I bring the mod wheel back down, okay, that's because of the auxiliary source being set to mod wheel. And you can click here and change it to be all sorts of things. But the sound, it has that sound, man. Gotta play with that one. That's very fun. That's using the comb filter. So as you can see, the Epic goes all over the place, but it has this basic. Okay. Now we get to the effects. There's a whole bunch of different effects. All sorts of cool stuff. Okay. Okay, so you take the pulse out. I mean, okay, next up, some effects. That actually should be BPM effects, but oh well. Test your speakers. Nice and warm. Big waveform. So if you're saying it's all digital and cold, then I think we can debunk that theory. I mean, it can be. If you go to the EQ, set it to this. I've killed all that high-end, that like really high-end stuff. So that's a really useful tool to use for certain types of sounds. If you're trying to do an older retro rock album and stuff, you might not want all that high-end information. So you can limit it that way. You can also use an outside effect outside of Serum, but having it built in and saved in the preset is really useful. All right. So if you know about ew, you'll that's what it's for. But you can change it to be all sorts of gamer tones. Okay. Nice, Seth. Very nice. Big. Gotta have some sync. Big drony kind of pads. And this is using that generating dense clouds kind of thing. It's kind of interesting. Even just a single oscillator with the right LFO settings. By the way, this is using key tracking of note to control the speed of the LFO. Because you want to play slow down here. If it plays fast, it's all out of tune. So you want to be slow here. And as you go up the keyboard, that's how you accomplish such things, using note assigned to the LFO rate. Okay, Lush Voyager is beautiful for the. Nice, big, warm. Gotta have those types of sounds. Every library I make has a sign pad. Every Korg synthesizer has my sign pad in it because you gotta have a sign pad just for the pure type of thing. And with this, you can go to the waveform and so forth Added distortion so you could get the more variety, stuff like that. So there you go. Sweet, more strings. Type of thing. Complex. And again, tons of controls. For all that kind of stuff. This is a fun one for get really bright. Helps to have 16 voices on one note. This is one where velocity is being routed over here to decay. So it's really short when you play soft and when you play harder. Got in all into the sky with my plugs for some reason. More pure type of thing. Big E in the house. Just big, massive amounts of power there when you need it. Big square. Okay. More synths. Lots of cool synths. Cool. Now this will kill your power. I think this probably has, yes. You might want, in some cases, you can go through and turn things off because a lot of them are hidden. Maybe not needed. Anyway, check the effects. You can turn off effects and so forth sometimes to get more notes of polyphony. And remember, your best friend is freeze or bounce. So you can bounce things down. So snappy. You get the idea. These are, each time you play it, it's a different random thing. More Mega Man. Some synth. Just using one of the noise samples layered with sounds, which is cool. Okay. And of course, if you want to make that bigger, you can turn on the sub. And we're back to the beginning. So that's the 100 patches that you get in Epic. Evil is a whole different direction. MegaWav EVIL. Now, just to give you a comparison, if you have a groove that's not a 4 on the floor, but then the Epic patches don't really work. Some do, but most of them don't. Whereas if you go to the EVIL folder, perfect. It's great. It's easy to get the picture. This is where we're at. Waveforms are going crazy. I mean, have fun. So if you need motion big, there's all sorts of ways of using these patches, right? Something like this, you could use this low 12, bump it up, bring up the drive, and you get into more deep sub. by bringing up the strength of, that's the value number for the, when you're looking at these. 6 allows certain frequencies above a certain point to come in. And as you bring up the strength, it's going to bring down the shape of that clamp. So that's how you get it to be more pure tone, more subtone. Able to focus more on just that low end on specific frequencies. So, Evil. Just have a little pitch drop at the end. This is longer. Just breaks into little pieces. You can do all sorts of stuff with that. Does it for you. So you get the idea. So here's bloodletting. So if you need some serious bass lines to cut up, tons Tons of basses. So on and on. Big kick drum. There it is. Okay, stuff like that. By the way, as you can see right here, it tells you what it describes. So here's knock knock. The reverb coming in and out. I did the video earlier showing this patch off. Crazy. Fun stuff. Check this out. That was fun to make. There's so many. We're almost to the end of the wubs. Dark. Okay, that's fun to play with. velocity bass. So. And some effects. Risers. This goes forever too, by the way. Okay, we have some pads. Now this, I was actually going to put into the Epic bank, but it works really well for the dubstep stuff. It's one of my favorite pads because and you can change the wave that it switches between. To your computer. It's so sad. It's really nice. Falling lizards, fizzles. I'll get you. More aggressive than the one in Epic. Some whips. Speed up, slow it down. Traps. Gotta have those. Beautiful FM synthesis. Very nice. So, since I talked so much in the first one, I'm just going through patches quickly, so. Because there's still a lot to go through. With pads. One note. Love this one. Dark pad, it's motion. So you can get a lot happening with just a mod wheel to get that pulsy dark to bright stuff. It's great for that kind of stuff. Lots of motion. Got some unisons. And the LFOs slow down. It's cool. Big, powerful. You see the range of sounds we're setting them up, so you can go a lot of different places. So this is the envelope for the LFO speed. Play with that if you want. What else we got? There you go. You have it. Wow. Okay, 200 patches in 2 different libraries for Serum, covering 2 different genre directions. So it's pretty clear which one you would want if you want to be in just one style. If you want a whole bunch of flexibility to do a little bit of both, then get the combo pack. All right, well, that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed this tour, and I hope it helps you make the decision to either get Serum, if you don't have it, or to get these patches to expand the sound palette of Serum. That's what our focus always is giving you quality stuff that's not in the factory library, so that you got all sorts of new things to play with. So I think we did that pretty well. There's a whole lot of crazy stuff in there. I've got a couple videos I'm going to do. I'm going to do a basic programming tutorial on using Serum for the most part. I might use some other synths as well. And then we're also going to do advanced programming on Serum. There's a whole lot of cool tricks you should know about. All right, thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.